Hey, how's it going, guys? So we're here with another Star Wars reaction video. If you're new channel, welcome. This one is called Yoda and Obi-Wan's clone Massacre at the Jedi Temple Legends, and it is by the Lore Master. So shout out and credit goes to the Lore Master providing this video. When it comes to Yoda and Obi-Wan's clone massacre, we did see a little bit of it in episode 3. Sorry, I was just trying to think about which episode it was. We did see in episode 3 where they were just like fighting against the clones, and they did manage to survive. And I do know there was a deleted scene, and I did see it, of where some clones actually put on Jedi robes to ambush the Jedi. And that's basically all I know. So without anything else, let's just jump into the video.
Upon safe passage aboard Bail Organa's ship following Order 66, Obi-Wan and Yoda soon agreed to return to the Jedi Temple on Coruscant to deactivate the recall beacon, as well as to further learn what occurred during their absence. Initially, the two Jedi planned on using General Grievous's Soulless One to reach Coruscant, with Kenobi suggesting the Grand Master ride upon his lap within the one-man cockpit. That plan was immediately ditched, however, when Organa offered to transport them after an emergency Senate meeting was announced. Refusing to bail
and also if they
Organa
appear on a
until they were
separatist
certain
ship,
he was
who
in
knows?
no danger himself, Obi-Wan and Yoda arrived at the Senate building with the senator. Entering through the private turbo lift, which led directly to Organa's personal office from the Senate's landing platform, the group remained undetected until they reached the first security checkpoint. As they exited the turbo lift, a Senate guard noticed the two Jedi alongside Organa and his staff. Believing the group was unaware of the recent events and hoping to apprehend the two fugitives without conflict, the guard tried to play it cool by casually verifying Organa's clearance before ordering the two Jedi to come into his custody. However, the moment he did, Obi-Wan subtly used his mind trick on the guard, convincing the man that the two Jedi were better off remaining alongside the senator. Of course, the guard thought, there was no need to be unreasonable by refusing the reasonable Jedi to enter. It was a great idea, actually. The Senate chamber was super secure and they'd be arrested the moment they left anyway, so what was the big deal? Satisfied that everyone was agreeable and on the same page as him, the guard didn't even realize the contradiction when both Jedi headed off away from the senator's group rather than remain together as they had all seemingly agreed they would. Moving through Coruscant's underworld to avoid detection, Yoda and Obi-Wan finally reached the Jedi Temple on one of its lower-level loading docks. 8 clones disguised in Jedi robes stood guard at the entrance. Hoping to avoid bloodshed, Obi-Wan approached the clones as a drooling hunchback while carrying Yoda in his arms. The clones drew their blasters on the approaching man, ordering him to identify himself. Speaking as if he had either taken drugs or never learned Galactic Basic properly, Obi-Wan pretended to be a desperate citizen seeking a reward for turning over a Jedi baby. As the clone sergeant looked closer at the strange-looking baby within his arms, he asked how the man was certain that it was a Jedi. That was when Yoda announced, "My lightsaber, the first clue would be," before igniting the blade and slashing at the sergeant's face without making direct contact, while Obi-Wan dropped the charade and also ignited his lightsaber. Despite offering the surprised clones a chance to surrender, 6 seconds later all 8 clones were now corpses. None of them even considered the offer for a moment.
I remember the deleted scenes. You clones make poor Jedi.
Former allies going forward, and that they would have to eliminate any clones that crossed their paths without hesitation. The duo then snuck inside the temple using various hidden passageways to better assess the situation within. At this point, thousands of clones were still present within the temple. Most of them were at the main halls processing the bodies of the fallen Jedi, verifying each of their identities through the temple's archives. On the other hand, scores of specialized troops, such as clone assassins or blaze troopers, guarded high-value targets, including the beacon room. Although the fighting had ended for some time, several clone squads continued to search the temple for any remaining Jedi potentially hiding. Yet, instead of Jedi, these squads began finding the lifeless bodies of fellow clones, including one group whose corpses were hidden within a closet. These discoveries quickly sowed panic and fear among the clones, as other squads soon reported further unexplained sightings, like witnessing a brief flash of a robe disappearing around a corner, or hearing strange sounds echoing from within the empty chambers. Some clones started to believe that the temple was haunted, and perhaps taking revenge for their earlier betrayal. Originally, both Yoda and Obi-Wan hoped to reach the beacon room by sneaking through hidden passageways of the temple and avoiding the main clone forces present. only engaging isolated clone squads that came across their paths by eliminating them before they could report their discovery. However, the destruction caused by the fighting during Order 66 likely obstructed these passageways with debris, preventing their use to accomplish the mission in a timely fashion. Realizing that they'd already been at the temple for nearly an entire day, and that time was running out, Yoda and Obi-Wan decided to change plans. Rather than sneaking around, they were now going to just fight their way to the beacon room. With that, both Jedi Masters entered the main halls of the temple and went full force against the clones, cutting down scores of them as more and more troopers were alerted to their presence. As the fighting intensified, they decided to split up and divide their enemy's forces, possibly hoping that one of them could reach the beacon room in time. This didn't last long though, as while Yoda was making quick work of all of the clones that confronted him, he soon sensed that Obi-Wan was in danger, returning back and saving his friend from the troopers attacking him. They remained together from then on. As they pushed on, battling the onslaught of clones and eliminating
Obi-Wan almost died in the temple.
The brief periods of calm allowed the two Jedi to witness the true horror of the massacre that took place as they made their way through the temple's primary chambers. Knowing his friends were gone was already difficult for Obi-Wan, but seeing their bodies firsthand devastated him. They then discovered several Jedi, including younglings, having been killed by a lightsaber blade, which only intensified the feelings in Kenobi, as a small part of him suspected the worst. Finally, both Jedi reached the temple beacon room, eliminating the clone assassins guarding it in the process. While Yoda guarded the entrance, Obi-Wan reprogrammed the beacon's signal to warn surviving Jedi to stay away from the temple. Afterwards, despite Yoda's warnings, Obi-Wan looked through the temple's security holograms, learning the terrible truth that it was none other than his own apprentice who had led the massacre on the Jedi. Feelings of deep regret washed over Obi-Wan, speaking out loud that he should have let the clones shoot him while on Utapau. Before Yoda could properly react to such a comment, Obi-Wan corrected himself, stating that no, he instead should have been killed on Naboo by Maul, before he ever had the chance of bringing Anakin into the Jedi Order. Not wanting to hear such further nonsense, Yoda jabbed his cane into Obi-Wan, straightening him up and reminding him that Anakin was solely responsible for his actions. To make a Jedi fall to the dark side was beyond
Obi-Wan
feels
so much guilt.
Even Darth Sidious's. In the end, Skywalker ultimately chose to make this happen. Why he chose this path no longer mattered. What mattered at this moment was that there were two Sith and two Jedi. Realizing what the Grand Master was suggesting, Obi-Wan reluctantly agreed to face his former apprentice after Yoda convinced him that Palpatine was too powerful for him to confront. The two Jedi then escaped the temple safely and departed to their respective new missions. We want to give a special thanks and shout out to SW Clone Wars Edits on Instagram for allowing us to use their fan art of Obi-Wan and Yoda for the video. Elias's artwork is based on the 2003 Clone Wars series, depicting various characters across the Star Wars universe in its style, with Revenge of the Sith and The Force Unleashed being currently focused on, recreating memorable moments from both movie and game. Link to the Instagram page will be in the description below.
Alright, there you guys have it. So that was Yoda and Obi-Wan's clone massacre at the Jedi Temple. Really great video, and it kind of filled in some of the plot holes, but I guess they were tired of stealth, so they just said, alright, let's just do a full-on battle. But anyways, I know this is a short video, but I really enjoyed it. Hope you guys did too. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. And if you guys have any other videos you guys want me to check out, please put it down in the comments below. Thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. It's what keeps this channel going. And make sure to hit that notification bell so you know when I drop another video. And without anything else, I'll see you guys next time.